Today we are given the motion this has would abolish prison. Abolishing prison makes society safer and more humane. Prison only cage people rather than support communities by ensuring their access to food, shelter, education, healthcare, and freedom. We should consider new ways other than prison to make our communities safer, more sustainable, healthier, and more successful for all. I have two main points, quality of life and safer societies. Let me explain my first point, quality of life. Prisons do not provide the minimum standard of healthy living as a human. For example, U.S. Department of Justice report that there were over 8,210 cases of sexual abuses in prison. 80% of women were sexually abused by prison guards. A 16-year-old boy, Rodney, committed suicide because he couldn't stand the sexual abuse by many adults. According to the Nikkei newspaper, January 10, 2014, at least 218 prisoners died in Brazil prison because the prison guards violently beat them. In Tokushima, Japan, prisoners with disease could not get enough treatment or medicine, so 6 people died. These are just examples of the cases when prisoners' human rights are violated. According to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 25, everyone has the right to standard of health of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care and necessary social services, and the right to security in the event of sickness, disability, old age, or other lack of livelihood in circumstances beyond his control. Clearly, prisoners' human rights are violated. Let me explain my second point, safer societies. Less prison means less crime. More prison, more crime. Let's compare the example of US and Finland. According to Angela Davis, professor at the University of California at Santa Cruz, the tough on crime policy of the 1980s in the United States did not produce safer communities or drop in crime rates. It just created more prisons. The war on drugs created more crime and filled prison with drug addicts and non-violent offenders. According to the critical disease stats, only about 1% of the 2.5 million people in U.S. prisons are therefore violent offenses like murder, rape, and pedophilia. Communities with high incarceration rates are less stable and less safe. Families are broken up. Communities rely on the state to intervene in disputes that could be resolved by people themselves. In the US, prison is a violent place that often makes non-violent inmates become more violent. This violent institution only brings about more violence, domestic violence, child abuse, assault beyond the wall of the prison. On the other hand, Finland shows us that less prison decreases crime. 30 years ago, Finland had strict prison like Russia and one of the highest rates of imprisonment in Europe. They changed the prison system. Over the last 2 decades, more than 40,000 Finns had been split in prison. $20 million in costs have been saved, and the crime rate has gone down to low Scandinavian levels. These two cases show us that prison makes society safer. Therefore, we should move toward abolishing prison and creating kinder society for all. Thank you.